Samantha Marisol Gershman. Training is everything. I feel like more than half the job of an actor, a performer, of anyone in the arts is training. Because sure, the fun part of the job is booking the job and getting to do what you love every day and getting paid for it. But the hard part of the job is the grind. And in that grind is training. And you have to love that part of it because that's the fun part. And I feel like even if you maybe reach the highest goal that you could set for yourself, then find another goal, and make it higher because I feel like I'm always trying to keep training for something higher, for something more. Because when you stop that, then you kind of plateau. I feel like training is when you get to try things out and maybe fail, but fail leads to success, and you get to play around and be yourself, and you get to learn. And I kind of like to go through life as like a sponge, basically, and I like to soak everything up and take from all these different classes that I can, so that when I am on stage performing, I can just let it all go and I can breathe the character. And because I'll be able to do that because I've trained and I've worked so hard. Be the hardest worker. There's always someone working harder than you, and you should strive to be that person, is kind of how I like to think about training. Training is, it's everything. It's so important, and when you fall in love with it, it's like that's the best part of the job. Many a time I have forgotten a lyric or two, and that's gonna happen because it's live theater, and that's kind of when the fun starts. But I think a really funny moment for me was, so I was playing Eva Peron. Now mind you, I was her understudy, and as the understudy, if you get the opportunity to actually go on, well, first of all, know that your role is to just save that show. But you're not thinking maybe what you should be thinking, which is live and breathe the actress and the moment and whatever, the character, and be in the moment. You're worried like, this is the first time you've maybe tried the costume on. You're lucky if you even get a rehearsal, a put-in rehearsal. So just know I'm putting you into my shoes for a little bit. So it's my first time going on. I'm Eva Peron. I'm singing Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, not iconic at all. And I'm on this big balcony, and you're looking down and you're singing to your cast and to the audience, but you're looking, if that's at least how this was staged. So I'm singing Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, the truth is I never left you, though to make it harder. And that is the wrong lyric. I skipped to the reprise of that song. I don't know if you're familiar with Evita, but it's an operetta and it's sung, the whole show is sung. There's a lot of reprises, kind of all blends together, but it's great, it's beautiful, we love it. Anyway, I skipped to the reprise where she's dying, and I'm like, the truth is I never left you, though it'd make it harder. And I'm looking at the cast and at the audience, and I'm squeezing my butt cheeks together, and I'm like, Sam. This is now, mind you, in like a millisecond, but it feels like years, feels like a lifetime, but you don't have that time because you're still in music. You're still in time with the song. And I'm like, Sam, breathe. It'll come to you. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Whatever, it's live theater, but just breathe. And just go back because you've done the homework. Be the most prepared, kind of going back to training, be the most prepared so that whoever's behind the desk throws at you, whatever mistakes happen in the show, that's when the fun can happen as opposed to being scared. You can breathe through it, and that is a good technique, and that's from training. And I don't know if you've ever like been in a ballet class where your ballet teacher is like, you know, breathe, Sam, or whatever, you know, and you're like, okay, great, I can do my plays. But I breathed, and it finally came to me. I don't know if it really made sense, but I was like, that would make it harder. In my distance, I kept my promise. And I was like, yes, I found it. I don't really know what I looked like, but the point is I remembered to breathe, and that technique of breathing and being over-prepared to the point of being able to handle a forgotten lyric, a brain fart, you know, I got through it without, in one piece. I've already talked about hard work. I think that kind of goes without saying. Be the hardest worker. And sure, be yourself. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people that say be yourself. I think something that really stuck out with me is failure leads to success. AKA, don't be afraid to make a fool out of yourself, because if you don't fall down, then you're never going to get back up. And I think with musical theater in particular, there's so many glorious moments that came from me falling down, if you will, and I learned so much from those moments that, you know, I had like SNL worthy auditions, you know, there were crazy auditions where I thought maybe this is a good idea, and in retrospect, I probably would have done something different, but I learned from that. Is the point of what I'm trying to say is don't be afraid to fall down, because you're going to get up, and you're going to have a support team that's going to help you get up, and that'll ultimately, I think, bring out the most authentic you, because you're not scared to fall.